I'm Alex Howard.
And I'm Amanda Silver. And this is Dirty Laundry.
Okay, well, this is an extra special treat. We have a very fun guest, but we also have a little pokeroo action.
Pokeroo? I don't know if I like that nickname.
Do you not remember the reference? You know pokeroo. Are you too young?
I've heard someone reference pokeroo before. Isn't it like a Canadian, old like Canadian
It was like a TVO show, and the one guy was pokeroo. So he would always leave to go put on the costume, and then pokeroo would show up right when he left, right?
Well, I've been sitting here the entire time.
Yeah, but nobody gets to see you.
I know. So, but right when I got here, you said that you've been here you've went out the last 6 nights in a row. For someone who is the most introverted person on planet Earth,
I know.
How does one accomplish 6 nights in a row?
Not well. Going on, and I'm, as you know, normally in bed by like 8 p.m. and it's been like midnight, post midnight every night.
Drinking alcohol.
A lot of consumption to keep it going.
What's the routine? Like, how do you prepare yourself for that?
Carbo load, like as if you're running a marathon.
Yeah, do you like prepare? No. I've heard people before when they're going out, they have like a whole routine. That they do before.
I'm not that hardcore. No? See, these are people probably that go out regularly.
Yeah,
I'm just running on fumes. I am like there needs, and I'm supposed to go out again tonight to this 90s dance party with some friends, and I don't think I have it in me. And then I'm hosting family Easter dinner tomorrow. So yeah, no. I'm going to stay home in my sweatpants.
How do you have that many friends?
I don't know.
I don't have any friends. How do people how could one be such a good friend that they have so many friends? Because I have 0 friends because I'm incapable of being a good friend.
It's funny because as an introvert, I really don't like to spend a lot of time with people, but I do love people.
But you're like an introvert extrovert.
And yes, I like the people I like. Here's the thing, and here's why I love doing this, is I don't want to have a superficial conversation. I don't want to have a superficial friendship. I want, like, on our first date for you to be like, oh, here's my, childhood trauma. I'm like, great, let's get into it. That fuels me. Mm-hmm. If I have to go to like a networking party and have superficial conversations about like the weather or politics or fucking dumb shit.
Yeah.
Drained.
Or it's just like when you meet new people and they ask you like what you do for your career and you're just like,
honestly,
and my career sounds so
Hey, podcast producer is badass.
I know. It's actually like a cool job, but for
cool.
people who live in like the traditional old school style world who just only understand finance and
lawyer, doctor,
corporate.
Teacher,
as soon as you say that, they think you're a fucking joke.
You're a fake. You have
like, oh, that sounds like a fun little side hustle. It's like, no, I actually just did my taxes and I actually earned a living. I earned way more last year than I did ever working in construction as a laborer. So yeah, I totally get that. But even just going deep with some people is really challenging for me.
So it's interesting. So then that doesn't necessarily fuel you. Having those really heart-to-heart, in-depth, vulnerable conversations.
No, it does not fuel me at all.
Interesting.
It actually drains me.
Oh, no. We're polar opposites.
I sound like such a bad person, but it is really hard for me. Maybe this is what I need to speak with a therapist.
Go to therapy.
I just don't know how to like meet somebody and like connect with them on like a deep level. I feel like I just always kind of avoid just getting close to people. I don't know what it is. I just have nothing. It's like I'm like awkward. I don't know.
Psychoanalysis. Yeah.
But I feel like I'm emotionally intelligent though. So I'm kind of a weird enigma.
Are. And you've had a relationship for a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Which if you couldn't be vulnerable and deep, that would never have
I know
lasted.
I'm a good person, but it's just like
you are.
to get
sweet.
deep with somebody is really challenging.
It asks a lot. And I think that's why I'm also good at my job. Is I'm like, I actually want to know why you want your kids 50% of the time when you've never been in their life, or why you think you deserve, support post separation. I'm like, I'm actually curious.
Yeah.
People have incredible stories. And the more you hear about them, the more you're like, oh, my life is quite nice.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you perspective for sure. There's so many days where you're just thinking about, you have crazy thoughts that are negative and you're like, it's really not that bad.
And through therapy, I have learned that I actually derive a lot of self-worth by helping people. So it literally fills me up to know that I am supporting people.
Well, maybe I need professional help.
I would encourage that.
I actually always wanted to go see a therapist, but I don't know. My brother like swears by it.
Everyone swears by it because it's so good.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see like what would pop up for me.
Go.
It's like I feel like I'd go in being like I don't know what my problem is. I feel like it would just unravel so many things that I'm not even like aware of.
Yes.
Like I'm not a big family of origin guy as someone who comes from a pretty bad child of divorce, but like, did that affect me? Or like, I don't even know. So I
Probably.
think maybe I need to go seek a therapist.
Okay, can you please?
And then I'll come back and I'll
report back.
report.
Please
I'll report
report
back to
back.
what my issue is. So
I
we can
love this
have
for
a
you.
bit where we can just keep up with my
Yes.
therapy sessions.
That's my dream.
Yeah.
We can just compare notes for our therapy. I love it. So speaking of therapy, today we have on Lisa. Now, Lisa is a stylist. She is a confidence coach. She is building people back up after transition, whether it's postpartum, whether it's divorce, whether it's just, age and stage. And I love the heart and soul she puts into what she does.
Talk about energy.
Talk about
Talk
energy.
about good vibes. Like, as
Listen.
soon as she walked in here, it was just like good vibes
Yes.
immediately. Because you meet a
Yes.
lot of people in this industry, and there's some people who walk in, and you're like, oh, they're a little nervous or whatever.
No.
I was ready to offer her own show after this was over. 'Cause
Honestly, she's like, I want to keep doing this.
yeah. It's like she could. That's energy right there.
She really
It was
could.
great.
And normally I ask a million questions. I didn't have time.
No.
She just talked.
She
It was
just
perfect.
talked. And for when you're a little hungover as well.
For when you're hungover and when
you're
your partner in crime is ill, it is very handy
Yes.
when you have a chatty guest.
So she was great. And
She
also,
was great.
don't forget, since I'm a producer, I'm going to take care of everything right
Do
now.
it.
Everybody who's a fan of the Dirty Laundry Divorce podcast, make sure you follow on Apple, Spotify, leave a review on both, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment. It helps the numbers. It helps everybody.
So welcome, Lisa.
Hi, how are you? I'm
Nice.
so excited to be here.
This is going to be so fun. A lot of the conversations that we have on this podcast are quite heavy and serious, obviously,
Right.
given the nature of what we do.
Right.
And I feel like you're just going to be a breath of fresh air.
Thank you so much. I can be serious too,
No,
but with
no.
a flair of energy and
A
enthusiasm.
little je ne sais quoi.
Of course,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, so hi, everyone listening. My name is Lisa Shaw, and I'm a transformational personal stylist and confidence strategist.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, when you're like in high school and the guidance counselor's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Could you have imagined that job even existed, let alone that was what you wanted to do?
You know, that's a really good question. I think that I've always had like an inner sense of, and I'm going to go with confidence. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything was connecting at that young age, but I think the universe or God or whoever is, you guys connect to, is that I think I was always given the gift of like empathy and curiosity and care, while simultaneously being really creative and loved fashion growing up. And so if I asked that little girl like what it would look like, I think it wouldn't surprise her that this is what I'm doing, because everything I felt always at home about has always gelled so well for me, carrying me through my life in all of the different things that I've ever done. It's always been at the basis of what I've done and helping style myself and my family members. I mean, I come from a long line of women in my family who, especially my grandparents, my grandmother specifically, she was always just so put together, but in a very authentic way.
Right.
And I think I took a lot of that from her. And storytelling through the lens of like style.
Yeah. And style, I think sometimes people have a bit of a maybe misconception of like it's superficial and it's just, things to cover yourself up. But when you pair that with, as you said, this empathy and this need to like really help people through that, it brings a whole new layer of depth to something.
I mean, it's all about your mindset, right? So if you think it's superficial and it really doesn't matter, you probably have some mindset work to do around why you feel that way.
Interesting.
Because at the end of the day, we all are our business cards, no matter what age we're at. And I think it's really important to, think about these things in a different way, because let's say you were walking down the street or you're walking to a store at a convenience store, it doesn't matter what it is, and someone's like either really disheveled or really their energy isn't good. It's about energy mixed with what you're presenting yourself to be. And so that when you see someone, it creates trust. Trust is everything. Friendship, employer, life. There's so many different I don't even know how to explain it, just like connections along the way, that when you feel trusting with someone by their energy, and then of course by what you're seeing, it connects and then propels you to move forward with a friendship, or like, oh, this is somewhere that feels comfortable to work, or I do want to make a transaction with this person.
Right.
So I think that those are all things when people are like, oh, fashion and style, it's so, reserved for whoever, right? Whatever that
Yes.
even means.
Yeah.
I think that we have to like debunk that.
Yeah.
And I do believe how we present is really important.
Yeah.
at
No,
the end of the
you're
day.
really making me think like, yeah, maybe there is some baggage around why I only want to be in a sweatsuit and never leave my home and take my slippers off. Like, what does that say about me in a broader sense, other than, oh, maybe you're just don't have a lot of creativity when it comes to fashion, or maybe confidence, right? I mean, that's your jam, building back people's confidence
Yeah.
through like kind of melding the interior and exterior.
I mean, from what you're saying, it doesn't have to necessarily be like I'm a proponent of leggings and sweats
Right.
and your uniform and being all the different versions of yourself.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not suggesting that you can't access that part of yourself and you have to be like on all the time. But when we are trying to listen, a lot of the work I do is about also like the energy and attracting abundance and things like that.
Yeah.
And so when we do, let's say, want to go to a networking event, a lot of my clients are like, I don't even want to go because I have nothing to wear.
Story of
They
my life.
literally will like
Yeah.
not attend
Yes.
something that could really move them forward through
Yeah.
connection, through business opportunity, through filling their own cup with whatever it is, because they don't fit in.
Yeah.
Or they don't feel like they
don't
do.
feel it. Yeah.
They don't feel like they do. And so that's a lot of the work that I do. I think I'm really making a nice big shift with the clients that I'm working with and the messaging. I do a lot of like event speaking, public speaking.
Okay.
That's where I feel like my sweet spot is.
Versus like a one-on-one with a client.
I love one-on-one and I've loved my clients that I've worked with and the sum of my experiences, which we can, I guess, get into a little bit of that. So it gives your viewers some context and listeners some context. But I really think that there's a different way we can uplift people through the lens of style.
Okay. Say more about that.
So, it's okay. Well, we're on the perfect podcast for people who are transitioning in their life. And I think that this is
Yes.
what we talked about when we first met,
Yes.
sitting at that creator event together.
Because people need help the most, I think, when they are feeling the worst.
Right.
And the motivation to be styling when your whole world is crumbling around you.
Right.
It's a tricky, it's a tall order. Yeah.
It is. I think at the beginning when people are going through transitions as it relates to marriages and relationships can be really hard. And there's people who could be of the mindset who are like, I'm so, and rightfully so in every way, I'm like zero judgment of where people are at any moment in time. Because of course, when you're going through, let's say, a divorce, there's so many other moving parts to what's going on. So like maybe you're like, can I swear on the podcast?
Please.
Like, fuck it. You're like, I don't want to get dressed. I'm not in the mood. I don't care.
Yeah.
You're in a
I
different
don't have the
mind
bandwidth.
space.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, I'm getting into it and need to fake it till I make it. I'm not suggesting that they're like taking on the world.
Yeah.
But a lot of the work that I do, listen, when people call on whether it's a fitness trainer, when you have fitness goals, you're at your rope and you're like, I need a change.
Yeah.
Or similar with my kind of service, when people are in a vulnerable place, that's sort of when they call on me. And that's where all of the blend of my experiences really come together. And so it could be in any transition in your life, but I do work with a lot of women and men because I come from the menswear world. And again, we can tag into that a little bit. But working in the menswear world really gave me a different perspective. It was luxury menswear that I really had the bulk of my experience in fashion, actually. Okay. And while I always did style women, I think things are by no mistake. And so working in the menswear world gave me a different perspective as how men see things and how women see things. And then that has woven into, of course, all the work that I do.
Yeah.
And so when someone's going through, let's say, at this transitional phase with a divorce, that's a lot of my clients are like, you know what, I want to get back out there. I don't know what to wear. And maybe what was serving us 5, 10, 15 years ago I'm not saying change your core identity, but there's ways to like feel more confident. Because when you listen, I always use the example of like, if at the Oscars, there's a category for costume design. That means people are stepping into a period piece or something where they're becoming the character of who they are. There's literally an award given for it. There's so much detail put into costuming, whether it's a period piece or a futuristic piece, whatever it is, right? And so I think the same principles kind of apply to when you're moving through different transitions in your life.
You almost need to get into character. So if you want to be someone who is high performing at the office, or you want to be someone who's got their shit together, at drop off, if that's your priority, like whatever your almost like goal person who you want, you encompass that via your exterior as well. And you mention this idea of safety, and I want to circle back to this because I think this is something major. So people get comfortable. I have a certain style. It's like I do my makeup the same way as I have for the last 25 years, right? Like I know what I'm doing. I feel good about it. It's quick. Get in, get out. I know all my accoutrement, what I need. So similarly too, right? I love a jeans and a sweatshirt. Clearly that's what I'm wearing today. I feel safe. It's like I'm comfortable. So I can then divert maybe some mental, capacity to something else in my day. Mm-hmm. How do you elevate that when someone is going through a transition that makes them feel very unsafe? Like, is that the time? Is there sort of like a magical moment where you're like, okay, now you're ready? Or do some people need the push before they're ready? This sort of fake it till you make it. Do you dress for the part you don't yet have? Or do you wait until you're ready? I asked you like 14 questions.
No, it's okay because there's so many, it all plays into one. I think it's a combination of those things. I think you have to everything comes down to you have to want to.
Yeah.
And I think when you are, let's say, going through a divorce, it doesn't have to, yes, there are heavy aspects to it, but you're still a person who wants to navigate through life. And listen, so many people go through so many different experiences as it relates to the final breakup. Maybe it's you're the one who wanted the separation. Sure. It doesn't always, I'm not suggesting that you're saying it has to have the tone of victimy, but we all, I think, have the desire to want to do better. And that means for ourselves.
Right.
And so I personally am not of the mindset of like, you should wait until you're ready. There is a time and place because you can't force something that doesn't feel authentic to you, but you don't have to be the most ready.
Right.
You can, it's a little combination of like, I see my way through the light into the tunnel, but I also have to fake it a bit till I make it, which I'm not adjusting my halo on this. Yeah. Like I also am in the same place that everybody is with so many different things, regardless if I'm married or not. I do happen to be in a great marriage, but I got married late, or what socially people would consider late. I was a much more, listen, people meet their dream person when they're 17. I had dinner yesterday with a girl who like met her guy at 16 and like, while they might have challenges in their marriage, they love each other and they've been together for umpteen years.
Wild. Yeah.
Everyone has a different sum of their experiences, I come from a divorced family and I know what that looked like to my mother, and I know what it looked like to my father. And I'm not suggesting that style, it's not at the top, but I did see how my mom put herself out there and how my dad did, whether that's professionally, whether that's going out on dates. It all kind of came together because, listen, there were dark times. The darkness is still woven into the sum of everyone, not just you who goes through a divorce, but your person, your partner, the person you're no longer with, your children, your parents, your coworkers, your everything. It's woven into every fabrication of who you are. So I don't look at style as independent thing. I look at it as like, how can we weave it into you feeling good? If your base outfit at home where you feel safe or gross, I'm not saying you have to like put on the craziest outfit to go grocery shopping. But you know what? If you're feeling down, I do believe that a little mindset shift, if you're like, okay, I'm actually going to put on jeans and the top I haven't worn that I actually like in a long time. Like, who cares? Just do it. Maybe not every day, but maybe once a week.
See how you feel.
This is what I mean by the little steps. It doesn't have to be like I'm committing to dressing up every time I go to pick up the kids.
Well, because that's too much pressure.
It's no good. I don't want to do that. No. So when you talk about safety, it's about feeling safe when you go on a date. It's about feeling safe when you go to a networking event or applying for a job or stepping into work or having to fire someone. like you want to be in a different space when you have to be authoritative.
Yeah, as you said, the costumes that we wear.
The costumes that we wear. And I think there's so many different versions that are just tweaks on what we do. So I talk a lot about uniforms. So like, for
I
example,
love a uniform.
Yes.
I wish I always wore a uniform.
If this is your home-based like uniform,
yeah.
when you do go to, let's say, your compartmentalized like social events, or let's call it networking event.
Right.
You then have your 5 or 6 versions of your sweatshirt with your jeans, but elevated, of course, that you're like, I feel comfortable and safe and myself in that category.
Yeah.
And then we do it with dating or whatever. And then we just compartmentalize a lot of different facets of your life and dress for those things. And then you have a little bit more control and a little bit more safety.
Yeah.
And then I think everything to me is connected. If you feel safe and in control, you're more in the moment. And in the moment, you can be more yourself. And when you're more yourself, you connect more. And when you connect, you're more confident. When you're more confident, it leads to other things. It's like every single detail to me. And so I try and spread that messaging because I am a living proof of dressing in a way that does attract abundance mixed with the confidence part. And, you know, everybody, when I was growing up, always said, oh, you're so confident. You're so confident. But really, it was mostly because I think I was given the gift of being outgoing. But the confidence in certain ways was, but in certain ways was not.
Yeah.
I was
show.
Available, too available, too maybe needy. All these things that I've learned, of course, along the way.
Of course.
So
yeah, introspection.
I'm rambling.
Helpful. Yeah, no, you're great.
I just have learned, I think you have to have a certain level of emotional intelligence to look back and see where the work is you need to do. Right. Even if you are going, I know I keep on, of course, bringing up divorce because this is sort of like the dirty laundry vibe. This is the space. But like, it's not only about the other person. The taking accountability and responsibility for, I'm certainly not suggesting that like if somebody, let's say, cheated on someone, that's your fault. But there are reasons why. Maybe I'm saying let ourselves go. I don't mean to generalize, but like let ourselves go with hobbies. Yeah. Let ourselves go. I'm not talking about like your look.
Yes.
Because when you feel ignited as a person and you are whole within yourself, I do believe that the world is a little bit more your oyster because nobody wants to be around someone who has a low frequency where they're not feeling ignited. Yep. So maybe it's not style, but like go play pickleball or go do an art class.
Yeah. Fill yourself up with something. Yeah.
When you don't have anything else to attach yourself to and you make your other person guy to girl and girl to guy. I'm not just talking about women.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I've had a lot of discussions with men about this in my time in a very vulnerable space in their closets or in working appointments and things like vulnerable. That. I'm not suggesting I'm a therapist, but when you talk to someone who cares but isn't invested in your entire life, who isn't your dad or your mom or your cousin or your friend.
Well, there's no judgment.
I am like,
you're neutral.
Literally so neutral, but with the care of someone who wants you to be your level best, not just like, let's buy these 3 blazers with your light blue shirt and the tie and the brown shoes. Cool.
There's so much more to it.
It's not even those things come at the end.
Right.
And so the relationships that I build are really meaningful to me.
Yeah.
Client or otherwise.
Why is it so vulnerable? Like you gave this anecdote of your client being like, oh, don't look at that drawer and hide away this. Like, why is our clothing so tied to insecurities and fears and not good enough, right? They're not the right labels. They're not the right material. Why are we so fucked up about it? Is it societal? Is it just too intertwined with our identity? Like, what is it about all that?
I think listen, we're born into this world with the things that we nurture and things that we are nature, right? Yeah. And so I do believe that we all are very fragile and have the pain points. Like, I'm not you. I haven't lived your life. No one knows what happened. And to me, everything is secured between ages like 0 to 5 in your formative years where you're based on your environment and all of those things. And so environmental things affect how we feel about ourselves.
Yes.
And then, of course, affect how we see ourselves.
Right.
And so if you draw that out, it is so woven because sometimes we're trying to cover up. Sometimes we have a pain that you could never explain to someone and you try and cover it or you try to uncover it.
Right.
Because there's different things that we try and attract based on our relationships with our parents, based on our relationships with our peer groups, based on the things we've been told, based on the things that we believe about ourselves. And I think that that really all plays a part in how we dress and how we feel and how comfortable we feel. And listen, everybody in life needs a bit of a change up from time to time.
Definitely.
I believe that everything is cyclical. Every 5 years, I don't know about you, but I've shed my skin in a different way.
Right.
I think I'm built in a way, and because of course I can only speak on my own behalf, but like I'm built in a way where I have like a growth mindset. And I think it comes down to being stagnant versus wanting to grow.
Right.
You can still be super fashion. Like, listen, you don't have to be so into fashion to lead a very full, amazing, credible life. The confidence, this is just an added piece that when you feel a little lost, you can kind of like tackle into it and then not either overbuy or overspend because when we have our own fragility or our own traumas, that could not only come out in drinking or sex or gambling or whatever, but it can come out in shopping, overspending, getting a lot of things done to yourself. And listen, go get a lot of things done. I'm into it.
Yes.
It just has to connect.
Yeah.
What I don't do is give advice. I am no one to give advice. I can lead you to a different path or to think about things in a different way. But I'm still going to love you, be your friend, want to be your like, I want you to still be my client, even if you don't listen to me.
I imagine you see a lot of the same patterns. Like people, we like to think we're super unique, but I think for the most part, we're probably kind of falling along the same, trajectory. Are there patterns? Are there common pitfalls that you can be like, if you're thinking this, do Y, or if you think X, you're crazy? Like, what are you seeing that just from like a general brush that you could give us some tips?
I'm like I don't want to say impressed, but like all of your questions just hit home so well. No, absolutely. There are patterns. We're all just these beings trying to do our best, navigating through life, whether you're a very successful person, monetarily, that could mean your whole world inside is crumbling. Something could have happened to you in your childhood that like you're carrying with you there's a million different examples in the pattern that I see is that we're all a little broken.
There is nothing truer that has ever been said on this pod.
Fragile, men and women.
No
and
doubt.
Guess what, you guys? Men have it so much more in a different way because they have to suppress it based on their systemic stuff.
Of course.
So we have to give some real grace to them as well because the world is a load on them too in a much different way. And so the patterns that I'm seeing are that, again, everything is cyclical, but I do believe that the one tip and trick that I could give actually has nothing to do with style, but it has to do with every time you have a negative thought, try and instantaneously replace it with a positive one.
Love that.
Again, it takes work.
Easier
It
said than
doesn't
done.
have to happen every single day, but when you're in it, just stop and try and change it. And those tiny little, or like, I don't know, I'm working a lot on like, my bandwidth as it relates to my patients is very small. It doesn't spread very far. And so I'm quick to raise my voice or I'm especially around my kids when we're in a rush or when we're doing. So I'm trying to, I'll use an example with myself, which is just like, it even happened this morning. I was like, okay, take a step back. I'm just trying to catch it. So that the catching will turn into not doing it as much. So then the not doing as much will turn into a bit of a different vibe and a bit more control in the morning. So that I don't have to rush to get dressed and I don't. It's all to try and make things a little bit more calm. And so that is the tip and trick because most people are in a more heightened, frazzled state for the majority of the time. Because life is quick. I even feel like the earth is spinning faster. I know that sounds insane.
I'm
like,
here for it.
Just the frequency of the world with everything going on, whether that's political or otherwise, we all are carrying it. Even if you think that you're not or you don't actually think about it on a day-to-day basis. It's woven into the actual tone of our environment.
I agree.
And for those of you who don't think it is, I would encourage you to start feeling like it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And just notice it.
Just notice.
Yeah.
Of course, we can't all like change the world and change things in such a big way. But it's just, in my opinion, just little things. And even something like, I talk about energy and even something like, think about your posture. There's another tip and trick. When you are out and about, think about your posture. It doesn't even have to do with clothing. When your posture is sort of up and you're elevated and sort of your energy's coming through like the top of your head, you're navigating in a different way. Yeah. If you're feeling slight and depressed or whatever those things are, maybe it isn't the outfit. Maybe it's, let's just try and get through the day with my better posture and a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Small
it's
steps.
Tiny little things. So I think that when I work with people or even just have discussions, even having this open discussion, or for the people that are listening, if you can take one tiny thing from anything that we're discussing, then we did our job.
So tell me about how maybe parents can talk to their kids about clothes. Again, right? The difference between following a trend, dressing your body type, being empowered to do whatever. I mean, I was very much brought up in an age where like, oh, you cover your midriff, you don't go out like that, or, you're going to be seen as a whatever, fill in the blank.
Right.
That's not the way I've chosen to talk to my children about it. But there is still a lot. There's a lot of societal pressure for girls and boys to fit in and to look cool and to have the coolest thing and to, how can we do our best to instill that confidence when they're little, when they're so formidable?
That's, I've never been asked a question like that before. I think that communication and openness with your kids without making them feel like, I just like to remove all of the judgment, right? And so, of course, that's like so broad, right? But I think to let them explore, to let them not worry about okay, we can talk about trends in a second, because I'm sure that that's actually the more woven part where like people feel like they need to spend on a certain thing to fit in. Like that's its own category. Yeah. And I think it's the job of the parent to, like, based on your budget or based on what you feel like you can afford. Like if you're really stretching yourself so thin to get your kid, maybe if you feel like, of course, we're all parents and we want our kids to fit in. So if like you have to go to Sephora to buy your kids makeup, which like this is where I have boys, so this is different. But like I talk to my girlfriends about this a lot. It's like maybe it's just one or two things instead of every single thing that they want, so that they have the bag and they have the brand and they have the thing that makes them feel comfortable. Yeah. And conversely, of course, with clothes, I know like with girls these days, it's like Aritzia. It's like, I'm thinking to myself, these girls, like $95 sweatshirt and they want it in gray and they want it in black. Like, what do you mean? People are deciding if they could, like, should I buy strawberries to feed you guys today or not? We are living in a very crazy time. Yeah. So I think, I'm not an advice giver, but I think as it relates to trends and all that, I think we just need to instill our kids with, let them explore, let them have fun. You know, a great new trendy thing, by the way, is like vintage shopping.
I do tons of thrifting.
Get your kids involved in things that are actually trending. Yeah. Like taking them to the market and buying something cool. Or like, I remember when I was growing up, I went to Kensington Market to buy like
gray cords. That's all I wanted. God, corduroys from Kensington Market.
Yes, and like a Grateful Dead t-shirt and like whatever your kids are into, you can find a great this and that wherever you go. And so I think it's, again, on the parents to be like responsible about finding different ways to be able to connect with them. And that's a fun thing to go do with your kid. Yeah, even if it is a boy or whatever, take them downtown to Kensington. Let them eat a taco on the street and go into Color Me Mine and buy a cool something. Like just...
Yeah. Don't judge them for whatever they like.
Don't judge them for whatever they like. I mean, I know it's hard. If my son was like, Mama, I want to dye my hair blue, I would have like a bit of an issue. I'm going to just be transparent. I would want to.
I know.
I want to let him.
I know.
But of course, it's all of those things.
So it's our own baggage. right? Like we don't want our kids to be extensions and representatives of us out in the world. They are their own independent little tiny humans, but it still does.
It still,
you walk around with your kid with blue hair and all these people are looking at me.
It just makes it harder.
It makes it harder. And I think that's where it's like the Instagram versus real life. It's like, yes, I am empowering my child to dye their hair blue, but also as their mom, it's really fucking hard. Like two things can be true at the same time.
Two things can completely be true. And that's always, I think, the push and pull with everything we're trying to guide them to do. Yeah. But, it's, I think, finding ways to see what their like little gems within themselves are and then playing around it and really encourage them. Like, it's not about the trends and you don't want to be like everybody else. You want to be your own unique way.
Right.
So maybe that's one thing from, maybe it's a high-low experience. Maybe it's an Aritzia sweatshirt, but with a gray cord from Kensington.
Right.
It doesn't have to all be from Yorkdale or wherever we are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I would imagine some role modeling too, right? Like confidence, you just pump your own tires. Your kids can see that and build that confidence, remotely. Okay, let's do a couple rapid fires before we wrap up.
Yes. Oh my God, it's already done. I could be here all day.
I know.
Okay,
rapid fire. Yeah. What is your most loved item in your closet right now?
I am a blazer girl through and through. Structured blazers are my thing. I have a lot of blazers.
Dress up, dress down.
My new favorite one that's in my closet right now is like this like gold lame-ish kind of vintage blazer that I feel like I can for spring really like dress up on top of like a slip dress, or I can wear with jeans and a white tank top. And it's all just going to come down to the accessories. So that's my newest one of my favorite things.
Love it.
Everyone should always have a blazer in their closet.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
What trend do you hope never comes back?
I'm going to say nothing.
Oh.
Because listen, I've been dressing in like Western gear for forever. I've always been a bit of like a Santa Fe turquoise belt kind of girl. I've always been a girl who's worn leopard. So like animal prints.
Anything goes.
There's a time and place for bloomers. There's a time and place for Doc Martens. There's a time and place. My answer to that, which I get asked a lot, is really nothing.
Yeah, okay.
There's no trend that I don't want to come back. Bell bottoms, you want to wear them, you wear them with like, it's about taking things that are trends and making them your own.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't really believe in trends.
Yeah, I think that really is kind of life. Yeah. It's like, see what's happening around you and then decide who you want to be. Cherry pick the things you like, ditch the things you don't, right?
100%.
Okay, finish this sentence while we're still on trends. Style is not about trends. It's about
your story. It's about your story. I had a mentor, and I use this example a lot. He always said you have to be like the master of your own destiny.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think I do best, which is like tell stories through the lens of style. And, a story could be like I'm going out at night, maybe to like, I don't know, a supper club, and I'll wear a blazer that gives me like Janet Jackson vibes, and I'll put on a big hoop that has like a key hanging from it. Like I draw inspiration from the things I love, pop culture, music, movies, and I make it my own.
Right.
And so the big hoop hanging with the star, the key with like a black blazer that has like an epaulette. I'm like, I'm in my Janet Jackson phase today. Like I just pull from the things that feel fun and creative.
So you don't have to be stuck in a box. You don't have to have like a one-note identity. Yeah.
Oh my God. We're like not saving lives here. We're not like doctors and people who are doing really big things. This is like, tell your story, go have fun, wear your grandmother's brooch, wear your grandfather's old whatever, scarf of who. Tie it on your bag. Like you have so many things that you've accumulated over the years. Adding it as a little accessory or something that brings you joy. Take whoever's umbrella, whatever you've gained from other people or travels or things along the way. Like tell your story, conversation piece. Like let's have fun.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with this. So fun. See,
Yeah.
I told you it was going to be a fun episode.
You didn't have to tell me. You needn't have explained it to me. I like want to come back every week.
You are the best.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you,
It's
Lisa.
such a joy to have
So
been here, and I
fun.
appreciate your time more than you know.
Oh,
and I hope everyone listening had like a little bit of fun.
I got so many fun nuggets.
Did you?
We put a lot of pressure on our exterior.
Yeah.
And for good reason. It's
Of course.
important to be put together. As you said, that trust piece. But I think really what it comes back to for me is like, trust yourself. Like be free to just live it up. And yeah, you're right. We're so serious in so much of our life.
Yeah.
And especially going through divorce, this is a serious thing.
Yeah.
But that's no reason why you
It could
can't
also-
let loose a little and have a bit of fun.
100%. I think that if we take a little bit of a moment to just realize what we contribute to anything in this world and be a bit more like pensive about ourselves, not in an overindulgent way, but in like what message am I sending out? What energy am I bringing into the room? We have to be responsible for our energy. If you're in a bad mood, of course we all are, in our car, cry it out, and then like be responsible for when you're at work. Because when you, I think, take responsibility for those things, an interaction even on the simplest family get-together can change the tone.
Yep.
Coming
Agreed.
from a divorced family, I'm just going to leave on this note because I know we have to wrap up. The energy that you carry around on a day-to-day basis does affect your kids and does affect your parents and does affect everything. So if you can try to be just even aware
Step one.
of it, then I think we're all a little bit better for it. And it does, I use the word frequency a lot, but that's my word of the year.
Yeah.
It changes the frequency in the air. And I think everyone will feel a little lighter and want to do more things that are fun and connect.
You're right.
That's just how I feel.
It's
Let's
beautiful.
just like bring back the fun.
So fun. So Lifestyle by Lisa
Yes.
is how everyone can find you.
You guys can follow me on Instagram. Instagram is like my home base. Like I am on
Perfect.
LinkedIn and my webs. Everything is like linked there. But like
Perfect.
head to Instagram,
Yes.
Lifestyle by Lisa. Like and subscribe, follow, do what you are, don't, whatever you want.
To all,
But the content that I share is about I called it Lifestyle by Lisa because it's not just about what you wear, but everything in between.
Yeah, I
And
love
that's
that.
a little bit about me.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
This episode was written and created by Alex Howard and Amanda Silver, produced, edited, and engineered by RTF Productions. Make sure to rate and review our show if you loved it and give us a follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you stream your podcast to stay up to date on all upcoming episodes. Thanks for listening, and go easy on us. We're not your ex.